So we all been waiting for Guilty Gear Strive, right? So first off, thank you, Taste Buds, for coming to join me today on this talk. We are going to be talking about Guilty Gear Strive. Everybody's still all hyped from the beta. It's still fresh on our tongues. I can still taste it. But we're going to have to wait longer. They actually announced that they will be delaying Guilty Gear Strive. We're supposed to be getting it like in a month, which was in April, but they actually pushed it back. This is the message that they released, right? So, dear customers, we have made the tough decision to move the release date of Guilty Gear Strive, previously planned for April 9th, 2021 to June 11th, 2021. Since we have received valuable feedback after the recent open beta test, we would like to make the most of this opportunity to provide the best game possible. We need extra time to polish some aspects of the game, such as the online lobbies and the server stability. We believe it best to use the extra time to improve the game's quality and provide a better experience to all our players. Thank you for your patience and understanding. Guilty Gear Strive development team. First off, we don't get that a lot, right? We don't really get, companies hitting us with the, yo guys, we're probably going to take a little longer to release this game. And a lot of times when they do stuff like this, it's always met with like this crazy criticism, right? We just saw what happened with Cyberpunk. When people were kind of like clamoring for that game, they was really like waiting for like, yo, I need that Cyberpunk. I'm trying to create somebody and I want to do it in the Cyberpunk world. Everybody was fiending for that shit, right? And when the game came out, it didn't work on 3/4 of the systems that it was actually released on. I heard like the next gen console version, like the next generation Xbox and next generation PS4 versions weren't as bad, but overall it had a lot of bugs in it, right? To the point where they actually ended up giving out refunds. In a world now where, stuff like that can happen, and I was always okay with this, like being a person that always kind of sides with the creative sides of people who makes games, whether it be Daisuke on the creative side or the battle planner, whoever it may be, right? I am always for the delaying of games. Now, don't get me wrong, you all know this as taste buds and people who know who Steve is. I can't fucking wait to get my hands on the full version of this game, right? Even with, it's still being a very early game, not having all the details released. I was still really hype about this game. But like they said before, they also gave everybody who played in the beta an opportunity to fill out these forms, right? Who actually participated and how they felt about the beta, right? And I think, once again, I always talked about it. I love the fact that they do that. I love the way that it's, being put on the table for the people who will be playing this game, who are really looking forward to it. And they're taking those things into account, right? They're like, well, look, we know that you guys said you thought that the lobby system was nanny boo-boo. The shit was gross, right? Like, got it. We'll listen to it. I know some of you guys still don't like the HUD, right? That's fine too. And I know you think that, that lobby system with the matchmaking and the swords and you can get a bat and all this extra shit, thought that was, the worst. We're taking that into account. And we're going to push back the game's release. And I love that, because that means we don't, it's not that we don't have to worry about like what the company's going to do with the game going forward. It's more based off of the fact that we've already seen what they have to offer so far. And I really don't know what other complaint people have outside of the lobby system. I still think it's a bit nitpicky, but I also don't think it's nitpicky because functionality is a big thing. And online is one of the major selling properties for this Guilty Gear Strive. So I completely understand people wanting it to be seamless, right? I think that this is a great thing, right? And even back in the day when they pushed back, Metal Gear Solid or a Zelda game or whatever game, a Final Fantasy game, a Kingdom Hearts, I know a lot of people was about that. I know that a lot of times it's perceived so like in a gross way, right? Everybody's like, oh my God, I can't believe they're delaying the game. What for? And this is that and the other. And like, even when I was talking about this on my Twitter, I had a few people come on and say that like, yeah, the lobby system should be fixed. Like, that's like you should have did that first or something like that. And I don't wholeheartedly agree, but I understand what they're trying to say. I mean, I don't 100% agree, right? But I see that they're saying like, hey man, these are things that you probably want to have cleaned up. But I also see that it's a beta. So them pushing the game back kind of just erases, it doesn't erase it, but it kind of gives them more time to even polish the game even more. I don't really mind. I don't mind waiting. I play a lot of other games. My back catalog is still looking like a fat stack of video games anyway. So by all means, delay it. But I know there's a few people out there. I know Max is one of those people. I know Otori, one of the Taste Buds, is one of those people who say that the release date now coincides in the same week as Final Fantasy VII Remake Intrograde, the PlayStation exclusive that was recently announced, along with a slew of other Final Fantasy VII games, Final Fantasy VII Battle Royale and Final Crisis and 7 Chibi High Def Remake, all on the phone for most part, right? But there's a lot of people that are kind of at odds. And I say, look, man, go do exactly what you guys want to do. Go do exactly what you guys want to do. Because I think it's different when it comes to fighting games, right? For fighting games, it's not really when you decide to play it. You don't need to pick it up week 1 and go crazy. That's the thing about fighting games. The game's going to be there no matter what, right? So I don't really think the delay hurts anybody. It just gives people more chance to get set up. Final Fantasy VII is definitely going to be a game that I touch myself. But I'm definitely going to be playing in a lot. I'm going to tell y'all right now, I'm a lot more excited for Guilty Gear because I know I'm going to play Final Fantasy and I know I'm going to like it. And I'm probably going to play it maybe once, even this Intrograde, but I'm going to be playing Guilty Gear for the next few years. So I really want to dig in early to try to learn these games and just to circle back around to the point. I don't think it's such a bad idea, but let me know. What do you guys think? What do you think about the delay for Guilty Gear Strive? Are you guys affected by it? Do you think that the fact that it's coming out in the same week as Final Fantasy VII, is that going to deter you from playing it? Do you think that it's going to affect how many people take the game in? Let me talk to me, chat. Let me know. Tasty Steve, commentate GG Strive in the future. Man, look, if I see Guilty Gear in front of me, I'm going to talk about it. That's just how I go. I have to talk about Guilty Gear. If it's there for me to play, see, and talk about, I have to do that. So hopefully so. Even with the delay, I think people should temper expectations on service stability on launch day. There is going to be server issues. Oh, of course, Otori. That's how people get, man. They're going to be like, well, it should be this way. It should be 100% perfect because they delayed the game and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, bro, just calm down, man. Also being first next-gen fighting game, too. I like that. I like that take as well. A lot of people talked about how, next-gen consoles don't have anything and fighting games for the next-gen console. Guilty Gear is a next-gen fighting game, right? It's going to be on PS5. It's also going to be on PS4, and they do have crossplay, right? One of the things that people are really hoping that they take away from this delay is the fact that they add that PC to PS or PlayStation, PS4, or PS5 crossplay. I think that would actually be godlike, and it would definitely help propel Guilty Gear Strive to the next level. Just imagine if we had crossplay for PC and PS4 with that rollback. Although I will say I'm not familiar with how rollback goes cross-platform, right? I don't know how rollback across PlayStation 4 to PC works, or PlayStation 5 to PC works. I'm not sure if anybody else knows either. Am I missing something? Is there some kind of research that I have not seen? A game that has used it that I have not touched yet? I am open. Having PC crossplay plus rollback would be absolutely insane. Kipperino, that's 100% true. Look, we've already seen what rollback can do, right? It started with Guilty Gear Reload, right? And that game literally came back to life again, just based off of the fact that you can play it with rollback. I know people who don't play online at all who was like, yo, that rollback, let me get some more of that shit in any game. Even to the point where people are like, look, man, because of what they heard Arc System Works say, they were like, we're thinking about adding it to some of our older titles. So all those people that were saying hey, I want them to add rollback to Exert, Revelator 2, or Blaze Blue, or Battle Fantasia, or Dragon Ball Fighters, or Grand Blue. I think that there's a lot of games out there I feel like that should be taking advantage of rollback, right? But I love the way the Arc System works. Is kind of, believe it or not, this feels like to me they're kind of retroactively going back and thinking about this, because at first there's a lot of people out there when they first came out, they was like, man, Arc System, and they not listening to us. They're not gonna read any of those surveys. They not gonna give a fuck. And here they are, kind of like changing like history at this point, because going back and retroactively adding rollback to these games gives access to it to a lot of people who might not have played it before, right? There are a bunch of games that like I would love to play. That KOF Ultimate Match, I actually want to play that. It has rollback on it. Like, I haven't played it before, so I really want to get into it. And one of the reasons I'm even considering it is because rollback is added. I'm new to fighting games. Strive having strong netcode, as Wooly would like to hear, got me into fighting games. See, that's not a bad reason to get into fighting games. Being able to play fighting games competitively and learn on an online setting, especially now, is what you want. So having rollback, it definitely is going to bring more people in. Also, rollback shouldn't care about what platform you're on. It's just networking introspective of platform. I mean, I understand that as well. I'm just saying, do we have any active, examples of it? I understand that. I just want to, I don't know if we have any active examples of it in real time, though. That's all. Power Rangers does have it. That's true. And I heard that shit works fine. So there you go. A lot of people say that crossplay won't happen because of Sony, but we've seen them kind of loosen it up a little bit. So you never know.